two. Welcome everyone to episode 8 of the Lachi Molala Diaries. Today we're going to be talking about supernatural rom-coms, and we'll discuss this through two K-dramas, The King, Eternal Monarch, and Goblin or Guardian. And this is actually written by the same writer, like a common writer, Kim Yoon-soo. And we also have a common lead actress in both the shows. Her name is Kim Go-eun. And over to you, Chef, to introduce our very special guest today.
Thanks, Shoots. So the guest for this podcast is. Am I too loud? Sorry, my voice is echoing. Sorry. Okay, so the guest for this podcast is Hemant. We're very excited to have him here. Hemant is somebody that I've known through Twitter for a while now, and besides that, he's a writer. He's a film critic who specializes in the South Indian cinema, which, by the way, comprises four language film industries, which is pretty cool. And I want Hemant to tell us how he got into the world of Korean dramas.
Um, Thanks for having me, first of all. So, I think I heard so much about Korean dramas through friends on Twitter and Facebook, but I never really got into it as much over the years. Like, I would have seen an episode here and there, but never really completed it. But I think last year, just before the pandemic hit us, I started watching Kingdom. I think the second season was also out. So in a week, I completed both the seasons, and I'm like, wow! I mean, this is so cool. But the proper introduction, I think, was Crash Landing on You. I mean, that just blew me away. I mean, it's too cute for me, right? But then I was told by more veteran K drama fans that have a lot more to graduate. So I'm like, okay, Master Chief, I'm
Wonder
willing to
who
learn
that
more
could
now.
be. I don't know who he's talking about.
So yeah, and then I started taking more recommendations to watch more
Nice.
shows. So yeah, that's how it started. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So full disclosure, we also pushed Hemant into watching Goblin, and I think you were already watching King, and
I'd
so we thought,
seen first episode, but then I
huh,
didn't continue it. Like something else happened. Yeah.
yeah. So that's how we got him to watch while giving recommendations for the shows that he should be watching instead, and other than Chloe.
Chloe, oh my God.
So anyhow, so that we asked him to watch Goblin and the King, and we're very glad that he actually was quite a sport about it. And well, he should thank us because he really likes Kim Goen now.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, huge fan, man.
Yeah. So we will get to that in one of our segments. So without further ado, the first segment is bromance, which is so out there and so beautiful in both these shows. It kind of shines through. Tell us what is your favorite bromance moment from each of the shows, or any of the shows. Hemant, we'll start with you.
Right. So in King Eternal Monarch, um, we have Lee on one side and his um, the Unbreakable
Unbreakable
Sword.
sword.
Yeah, I mean, what's so interesting about Yong, the Unbreakable Sword, is his character remains consistent throughout, right? Like right from the beginning, he's always this very serious guy. He'll not let anything happen to the king. But then there's one moment which happens in Republic of Korea in front of a restaurant, and he realizes the king is in danger. There are police people who have come there, and there are goons on the other side. For a very brief moment of time, Yong breaks that character and he becomes this very cool
Yun
dude.
Sopa.
And
Yunsap.
yeah, yeah, and then he talks to him like that, and even Lee Gon is surprised, like, dude,
I
where
remember
did this
this.
come from? I
Yeah.
found that really, really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in Goblin, of course, I mean, the whole equation between um, Goblin and Grim Reaper, and it sort of reminded me of um, what is that show? Yeah, Leonard Sheldon,
Big Bang
Big Bang
Theory.
Theory.
Big Bang Theory, right? Like they're two geeks, completely different points of view about life. Both
Yeah.
are at each other's
But they
throat all
love
the
it.
time, but they love each
Wow.
other. They can't be without each other, right? And then, of course, there is a Penny-like equivalent there, no, with our Kim being
Yeah,
part of
and
their
both of
life.
them have an equation with her. Like there is a love
Yeah,
equation, but this guy also has a bond with her,
Yeah.
right.
the
So
Grim
they're like,
Reaper.
I'm always on your side. That's what Sheldon keeps saying to Penny at a later
Yeah.
point of time in Big Bang Theory. So I
That's a
saw
very
those
good example.
parallels.
Yeah, dude,
I saw
never thought
those
of it.
parallels. So I mean, I really loved the whole reimagination of a Goblin Grim Reaper as roommate or
Yeah.
flatmates, whatever. So I think it's a cool one, pretty cool one. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they
What about
deserve
you?
their
What did you
own
like?
spin-off.
I know, totally.
Absolutely, man.
Their
Absolutely.
their rom- their like their bromance was better than the lead couple's bromance any day.
Any day.
Yeah.
What about you, Shoots?
So from the King, I really like, you know, when Yonsapa, no, when Yonga, the unbreakable sword. Uh, there was this one scene where he was just disgusted with the king just returning back without letting anyone know, and the grandmother is also just looking at him, and he's obviously like straight face, like no expressionless. He's just looking straight, and then he just looks at him like sideways, and then Imeno is like, "Did you just glare at me?" And then he tells the grandma, he just glared at me. You know what this is to, right? I'm going to behead you. Like all the beheading quotes all the time, they are hilarious. And then he didn't react. He still had a straight face and he just continued glaring and he looked away. So that was a very cute moment for me. I really liked it. And from Goblin, like Hemant said, right, their general chemistry throughout, like there are so many scenes, it's very hard to pick for me. But I'm going to talk about two scenes. So there's this one scene where both of them are depressed because they are unable to get their woman, like they're just having girl issues. And Goblin has the power of heating things or cooling things.
Yeah.
Which one?
Fire.
Heating. Yeah.
Fire.
Grim Reaper, opposite, right? Like cooling stuff. So Goblin like takes the Grim Reaper passes the egg to him and he boils it in his hand, and then he passes the beer can to him and Grim Reaper like cools the beer for him, and they like exchange it. It was like poetry there. It was so well done and so well thought of. That was really cool. And the other thing is the other scenes are just like all the times where Grim Reaper is just, they fight, they behave like, oh, they hate each other, but secretly they're in love with each other. And Grim Reaper is like, why can't we just live happily like the way we used to? Who is the third person coming into our lives? Just send her away. So that's so cute. Every time he gets very possessive and territorial of Goblin. It's very endearing. Yeah, these two scenes. What about you, Chef?
Yeah, no, I was just thinking about it. They're like each other's mobile refrigerator and mobile microwave in the way they use each other.
Exactly.
And even, now that you mention it, I was just thinking about it. The Woo Han and Lee Min Ho, that moment that you mentioned, I think it shows their bromance because only Woo Han can do that. Nobody else will glare at this guy, even though they are somebody who has to take their orders. But because of the bromance in them, it's just like, only I can do this.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of favorite bromance moments from Goblin. So I'm just going to be, very quickly tell you both the moments. One is when this guy, Gong Yu, has almost kind of had a breakup-ish thingy with Gohan, and Lee Dong-wook is like, do you want a hug, maybe? And this guy takes his sword out. He's like, do not mess with me. He's like, you do not deserve any compassion. Fuck you. So that was one. And the second was the eternal them. Like they had to go out and get bhaji because, this girl is cooking inside. So they're like, we'll get it. And then they're coming, like, they're marching towards, you see it from the, from behind, there's light on them and the whole, that music and shebang playing. And then they're holding tarkari in their hands. That was a beautiful moment.
Yeah, like carrots and everything are flying out of
it's
that
like jetting
tissue.
out of those, and they're just like walking like glad rags models on this road. So yeah, those are my favorite. Like there are so many, every moment where these two are together on the screen is my favorite moment, but these two just like hit it out of the park. In The King, again, there are quite a few moments where you kind of try and, people try to pair them up and say maybe they're an item. The one moment that stood out the most for me was in the end when Lee Min-ho says, very last episode, Lee Min-ho, they're back into that 1994 setup, and Lee Min-ho says that I have to be there and you guard this place because I have to make sure this is my last chance to save the king of the kingdom of Korea. And then Woo Do-han says, Peha, this is my last chance to save the king of the kingdom of Korea as well. Do you realize that's kind of like, I have one job. That's my job. And it's also very like very moving moment, and it's also very technical. It's like, dude, that's like kind of my thing, my KRA. So those are I can go on and on, but from bromance to something very technical again. I think one thing that we realized was common across these two shows was the production, element and the kind of detailing that was done in creating these very different worlds. So again, starting with you, Hemant, if you want to like highlight any of the production aspects that really stood out for you in each of these shows.
Okay, so it goes without saying that for Goblin, it's the house that they built, right? Like it's I don't know, it's so beautifully done, um, right from the hall to the hallways, and um, I think it's one of those things which you have to see to really understand what people are talking about, right? Like a lot of it is shot outdoors also, but then I think the beauty of it really comes through the way things are lit. Cinematography and lighting is beautiful.
Yeah.
But a large part of it is also the production design. Everything looks so rich, and you're saying that Goblin is this guy with lots of gold. So everything, right from the thing that he eats, right? Like he's always eating steak all the time. Right? I mean that itself is a signifier of how rich he is and all that. Yeah, I mean, I really love that part about that. And same thing with King also, right? It's the palace which really defines who this person is. Like you hardly see him go out of his palace in the kingdom of Korea. Um, Even if he does, it's for an official visit, but he's not like a commoner who's just walking on the street. But whereas he can do all that in Republic of Korea when he comes here, right? So I think the
Horse
way
पे
the
आता है
house,
यार, पैसे तो है
yeah,
ही.
that I think in both the shows, the way they design the house that these characters lives in, especially the lead character, I think that really stood out for me.
Yeah.
They also discussed it, right, when they were setting up this one Kim Go-eun's room. They discussed, right, we should have like Renaissance pictures or something like that on this wall, and this side we should have that. And then the next day you see that it's all done up, and the way they've used lamps and candles in her room. Yeah, they actually dedicated like a part of the show of that episode into discussing interiors of her room.
Hemant, you're muted. Oh,
yeah.
For me, yeah, like everything Hemant said, right? Just you can just look at just one scene of the show, just check out the lighting, everything, and you know this is a grand production scale. Like the बहुत budget है ये दोनों shows में. Yeah, it's like अरे पैसा बहुत है. वो देख के ही पता चल जाता है. It's just the sheer lighting of both the shows.
Very Bhansali set.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah,
Very,
man,
very
yeah,
Bhansali
totally.
set. Like this is like, I think, Goblin especially was, I think, Game of Thrones level production value for any K-dramas, if you think about it, right? When they went back to like his history, when he was a goblin who was betrayed, like who did that was like, I think, did he betray or Jo Bhi Tha story, right? Even those historical times mein, it was so beautiful, like his long hair and everything, that scene, that palace setup was so great. But what I'll do is I'll actually share my screen and show you, share screen. Yeah, this scene. I really love this scene. So this is basically the dome, or like the one room before you go to heaven.
Or hell, depending on what you've been up
hell,
to.
exactly. Or depending on what kind of person you've been on earth. So yeah, before you face your death, you enter this room and sorry, I'm gonna stop. Not multitask anymore with age. Yeah, so you enter this room, you have a cup of tea to like forget your memories, and then you enter the pearly gates, you enter heaven or hell, and it's just that whole scene, like that dome with glass structures. It's so beautiful. And one of like do you guys remember that scene? I think it was in the first few episodes where Goblin is outside and Grim Reaper is inside, and they like make eye contact with each other through the walls. And Grim Reaper is like, "That's such a vulgar hat." No, Goblin is like, "That's such a vulgar hat you're wearing." It was so funny. It was hilarious. So yeah, I love that dome. Very beautiful. Chef, what about you?
What about King?
Oh
Do you
wait,
not
sorry,
have?
I have to talk about King. Yeah. I forgot King. I also have my favorite um scene to share from the King. It's this. Look how gorgeous this is. Like every time he rides from a parallel universe to meet her, and here I can't even get a text back from a guy. Even though parallel universe से आता है उसको मिलने. Bloody यहाँ पे guys don't even reply to your text. Like this is true romantic comedy. But yeah, anyway, yeah,
Dude,
you
I
know,
this is the first time I noticed that there is like their reflection on the ground because of whatever that material is.
yeah, I know it's so stunning. The lights, the like this makes it historical, the horse and like his vest and everything. But then there are like city starstruck lights behind. It's so gorgeous. So yeah, one of my most favorite scenes and things to look at. Very shiny.
Dude, somebody can actually do one of those, Tujhe Dekha To Ye Jana Sanam ka, that whole thing in the backdrop and them and this guy running towards her.
Oh, in slow mo.
Somebody should do this. This will totally work. Obviously, it will be for the intersection of K-drama watchers and DDLJ fans. Limited audience, but I was just
Yeah.
looking at it reminded me of that. So for me, two things, again, agree with everything that you guys have said. Two things that really stand out for me. One is the dining table that these guys have in Goblin. And they use it so many times. Those just, I think I have a thing for candles and the way they are set up. And I just look at this. This is so aspirational. I want to do this in my house.
Yeah.
So I just, for some reason, I just loved their dining table. Every time they had a scene around that area, I would be just like, okay, someday I want to like have this in my house. And in King, I really like that in the title. I mean, in the opening credits, they have that clock thing that just goes backward. Uh, that is something that those little things that these guys do, and it's just something that really shone out for me, and I quite appreciate that. So yeah, that's it on the production part. Next, guys, let's talk about your favorite romantic slash rom-com, or the most touching moments from both of the series, starting with you, Hemant.
Okay, so what I've realized in K dramas is we often talk about, when you see that special someone, time will stop and everything is in slow motion, flowers are fall. These guys literally do that for every scene that
I
happens.
know.
Right?
This is
And
the
each
plot.
time, yeah, and each time you're like, oh my God, how are they doing this? This is so good, right? But as far as these two shows are concerned, I'm just going to talk about how poetry is weaved through dialogue, and that conveys a lot more emotion, right? It's something which is common in both the shows. We, in Goblin, we see um, our goblin sitting in Quebec, in the middle of a park in Quebec, and he's reading out these lines from a book, and uh, he's seeing this girl walk towards him and confessing his love for her, but she doesn't know anything, and it's so beautifully done, man. I mean, I think it's one of those magical, truly magical moments in the show. I also really love uh, what they do every time they're at the beach. There is that place where she often goes when she's feeling very lonely, and this guy comes. So uh, the way that scene is shot, like you get a wide angle view of that, and it's like a lot of emotions are rising from the sea, and these guys are crying and hugging each other and all that. And also the buckwheat field scene, like
Yeah.
You just show a clip of that anywhere without any context, you'll still feel that they're actually in love, right? And that's so
Both
beautifully
Shruti and
done.
I are laughing because we just realized when I was in Seoul, I actually went there and got a picture clicked in that exact same setting and forgot about it. But yeah, just for the 100 people who will be watching it, I actually went there and I have a picture like that with a very good friend of mine. She's giving me, I think there was some muffler or something we had, so we used that as apple. We used that as our buckwheat flowers, and we have a picture like that in that exact same spot.
And in King again, there's a poetry, there's one scene in particular where the grandmother is reading poetry, but the visual that this show is this interdimensional space where both of them have entered, and you just get this voiceover there, right? So uh, uh, that stood as a beautiful metaphor for me, about these two people separated by time and space, and how despite all that they're finding a common ground somewhere. We
Yeah.
don't even know if it exists, but they're there, they're trying to find each other. So yeah, that's a moment that's short for me in King.
Moment.
Moment.
For me, Goblin, one scene which was like really touchy and heartfelt was there was one of the um, what do you call it? Victims, people who just died. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, but one of the
Dead
one
people?
dead people, yeah, one man who had just died. He enters the holy room of washing away your sins or whatever you want to call that dome, and Grim Reaper tells him that you don't need to drink this tea to wash away your memories because you've lived a good life, a clean life, and you don't really need, this. You don't need to do this ritual. You're good to go, and that was just so. It was very beautiful. It was very meaningful, and yeah, I just love that scene. I love the writing. That was a heartfelt moment for me in Goblin and the King. There was a cute rom-com moment I remembered, like a very cute romantic scene where Kim Go-eun is a detective, right? So she's naturally good with guns and uh, uh, like combat and those kind of like physical activities. Whereas the king is mentally, he is strong, being physically active and physically good at combat is not one of his strong suits. So he tries to win her the big stuffed toys, and he's bad at shooting, so he obviously cannot win that. So he brings Kim Go-eun to that very typical amusement park or theme park mein jo hota hai na, you win something and you win a big stuffed toy. He brings her there, and that guy who's like selling, he asks her, "Oh, so how many? You need like seven shots to win this big stuffed toy. How many bullets do you think you need?" And she's like, "7 will be enough." Very cockily, she says, "7 will be enough." And boom, like 7 shots, she wins that big stuffed toy, and Himeno is shook, like, wow, this girl, like, this is why I fell in love with her. So that was a
Swag.
very cute scene. Yeah, that was a cute role reversal scene. Usually it's the other way around. And yeah, again, I want to also point out the fact, like in general, I think I mentioned it earlier. Guys, take note. Mino traveled from a different universe to meet his girl multiple times. He missed her that much. And you guys can't even send your woman a cute good morning message text. Like, shame on you. Yeah. So learn this is true romance, guys. वो दूसरे universe से आ गया उसको. Beautiful.
Message message conveyed and how?
Right? Like if you think about it, wow, the effort this guy takes to meet his
The
love.
effort. Yeah.
Yeah.
Method ke marks.
Method steps. Steps के लिए marks.
Marks for the steps.
Yeah. What about you, Chef?
That reminds me, before Chef takes over, I really loved that moment in King where she's waiting for him. This is, I think, in one of the last few episodes. She's looking for him. She goes into the telephone booth, and right then he's in another year, and he's writing down a number there, and she sees that happening in real time. And I was like, wow, what a great moment.
Yeah. Moment.
Moment.
True hai. No,
Yeah.
that I was watching that just last night, and I know what you mean. I was just thinking about how this works, right? There is one person who can communicate with the other, not knowing whether the other person has, message has been conveyed, has it been
Yeah.
received. You don't have the delivery report. And how like touching that can be. So yeah, that really was a moment. Also, that the thing that you mentioned about poetry, right? How I guess that's the essence of it, right? So you can say so much by saying so little, and they weave that so well in their script. uh, for me, I think the most touching moments, in Goblin, there were a lot of touching moments in Goblin. But the two that stand out for me, one again that happens at that tea house, where this kid comes in and Goblin tells Lee Dong Wook that I want to sort of like do this one, and then he talks to this guy who's now an old guy, but he was a kid that Goblin had saved once. And so he talks to him and he said, oh, you remember? And he said, this kid who's now an old man says that we're very ordinary people, so when something like that happens to us, it's magical, and it means a lot to us, it changes our whole life. It was just very nice, beautiful, wholesome moment there. And similarly, there was this one vision impaired guy who dies, and Lee Dong-wook says, you can go through this, like they have like random conversation, and after that, when he's leaving onto the other side, he finds his dog there. It was just so beautiful. Every time I watch that scene, I cry. And yeah, so I think those were the most touching moments for me from Goblin. The King, uh, I think the most touching moment for me was the one where people acted really well, because a lot of people because even if there were a lot of touching moments there, their acting was just so bad that it just ruined it. So I'm going to take this moment to appreciate the guy who plays Shinje, the cop who has the hots for the lead actress. So this is the point where he tells his mother in this world that I'm actually not your son, somebody else is, and this woman is just like very furious. Why didn't you tell me? How long have you known and stuff? And he's obviously dejected. He walks out of the hospital. He's going out, and this woman, she comes running towards him, almost trips, and then hugs him, saying, I'm really sorry. I should have hugged you first instead of flashing out at you. And you see the moment between the two of them. It's very moving, the whole mother son thing. And I think that was one of the very few times that Shinje also lets go, and he expresses himself, and his sadness comes out in his tears very vividly. So that to me was the most touching moment. And they both acted really well. So that's why
I think Budoan takes the cake in that show for like good acting, or at least acting at all. Budoan
yeah, because everybody else was so bad. Yeah, actually, yeah, acting wise, I think he did the best because he had so much to do. He had to show that kind of variety. True. I would agree with that.
Yeah. Budoan is the unbreakable sword, by the way, in case Hemant is wondering who's Budoan.
Sorry.
He's like, kaun hai ye?
Yeah. We alternate between their real name and the character name, whichever we remember first. Sorry about that.
You had a confused expression.
Thank God that you were looking at him to figure that out.
I was like, is it Lee Kim? Like, are they talking about him?
You can raise hand and ask also. Anyhow, I can see that she's about to do this, so I will quickly get on to our last segment, since we were comparing people and people's acting. Yeah. So comparisons, guys. These are two shows that have the same lead actress and they have the same writer, Kim Yoon-suk, and she's also very celebrated and famous. Hemant, which one has better writing and lead character, both acting and otherwise? Which one do you prefer? Choices.
In terms of performances and writing, definitely Goblin. Like that really takes the cake for me. But also, it's interesting what they've tried to do in King also, right? Like I was actually while watching the show, I was tweeting a lot about it, that more than the sci-fi and supernatural element, it's actually the geopolitics of it that really appealed to me. And I'm like, see, I mean, they're trying to imagine what would Korea have been if not for the Korean War, or I don't even think that they've witnessed World Wars one or two in Kingdom of Korea, right? So I think that's why you have a scene where China comes to Korea and says, "Thank you for saving us, thank you for saving our fishing vessel," but still they consider Japan to be the biggest enemy, right?
Yeah.
It all reflects in that sense, and that show King, it's more about, they're talking about immigration, right? Because there are lines where he says, "I wish we had a world without borders, where people can go and come
Wow.
wherever they want to go," right? So it sort of becomes this whole parallel universe where you have a free Korea, and then you have a free South Korea, and then people are moving up and down from there. So if people have read too much about Korea, North Korea, and Japan, what happens? There are a lot of infiltrators, defectors,
Yeah.
and spies. And I thought it was, they were trying to draw parallels from that, or that's probably my reading of that show. So that made it very interesting for me in that sense. Although it could have been a lot better in terms of romance itself, right? You always see this guy wanting to meet her, but she can't go through the door. So it's always the guy who has to take that initiative, where the girl is just, waiting for him forever, and she doesn't even know when he's going to come back. Whereas in Goblin, I think it's built around a very simple question, that a person who wants to die, what if he wants to live when he meets the love of his life, right? So and that just builds on and on and on, and as the show goes, and talks so much about memories and loneliness. Beautifully written, both the shows, in that sense, although Goblin takes the cake totally. And Kim Goyan, right? Did I get the name right?
Yeah.
She's so good, man. She's so good. I believe she was like barely what, 19 when she did 19 or 20, right? When she did Goblin. And
I mean,
then
that's what they show, that she's 19
In the
first.
show,
yeah,
yes. I
In
don't
the
in the
think
show,
show,
she's
in
right?
real
19.
Yeah,
life. Yeah.
Yeah.
right. But she's so perfect for that. Like she's so, I don't know, lovable, I guess, if that's the right word.
Charming. Yeah.
Yeah, even in the most serious of the moment, she'll just make you laugh, and you're like, okay, I mean that's your true nature. That's how you're gonna behave. Right? I can't expect more from you.
Yeah.
Just kick ass in King, man. Like I totally agree with both of you on that front. Because
Yeah.
I know how much you've been rooting for her in King.
Yeah.
Shoot.
For me, yeah, what Hemant said, right? In terms of the writing, things being answered, like Chef and I have discussed this so many times that in King, like, or King or any of these like Christopher Nolan type movies, right? Like when they're trying to explain the plot or कुछ समझ में नहीं आता तो बस blame it on quantum physics. अच्छा, you don't understand this quantum
Quantum
physics.
physics.
इसके ऊपर सारा blame डाल दो.
Because
So in-
quantum physics.
yeah. If this is complicated, quantum physics. But so King for me, for both Chef and I, it was very confusing because there were so many things not answered, and
Yeah.
just it was not clear at all. Like क्या चल रहा है? Like towards the end, I was like, यार ये science है, हम arts वाले हैं, हमें नहीं समझ में आएगा. Forget it. ठीक है? तो we'll
She
live
does
for-
that, right? Kim Govan also does that. वो
Yeah.
छोड़ो.
Yeah.
She's like,
इसको
by the way, how
छोड़ो.
do you remember?
Yeah. Forget it. For now, let's make out. Remember, she said
Yeah.
that. First, we.
I'm like, are you for real? Like, it's not for you, it's for us. Like, we want an explanation.
Yeah. So in terms of like clarity, right, like, and everything, writing and things being answered, Goblin definitely is the way better show compared to the two shows. One thing, like the only thing where King was better was Kim Goan's acting, because she's the common thread between two shows. I think she maybe because, again, Chef pointed this out, you like Kim Goan more in The King because of the character. I just didn't like the childish, immature, whiny character in Goblin. I preferred her badass cop, I'll kick your ass kind of character. It suited her really well. So I definitely liked Kim Goan's acting in The King. But otherwise, Goblin for everything else. And I do want to point out the sense of dressing in King was hideous. I think E. Mino's stylist should be fired.
Don't be mean. But yes, like they need to like
Yeah, his clothes and even actually Kim Go-eun's clothes, like they're just so badly dressed. Like I know there is a way to dress someone up to show that they're poor, but they just did a very bad job on Kim Go-eun as well. So,
No, I don't think she
but
looks
Goblin's
poor in
sense of
any of
dressing was
those
kick-ass.
dresses. They were just loose. Like I don't
They
know
were,
why they gave them like
yeah.
two sizes bigger
You can
their
wear
size.
loose
Yeah.
and still look classy. In Noname, they just looked homeless for some reason. I don't know. They were looking really bad, but Goblin's sense of dressing was kick ass. Like all of them with their polo necks and everything, they were looking
Yeah.
so good with their long overcoats. I don't know. So yeah.
No, but it's exactly that. No, there was some BTS shoot also where that was pointed out that these people had loose shoes and the overcoats were really loose. It was exactly that. They just needed to like put like I don't know some staples behind. Uh,
Yeah,
Anyhow,
exactly.
we're
Yeah.
running out of time now. So
Yeah.
quickly, yes, I also prefer Goblin to King any day. Like I was telling Shoots earlier, to me, Goblin did not have any side characters. Everybody was a character that I was invested in, so I was not speed watching. I was not skipping anything. Whereas in the King, you had a lot of side characters you couldn't get me invested in, and therefore I think that shows in the writing, and obviously the whole loose ends that were really frustrating, so that also didn't work for me. It also felt like maybe she was trying too hard because she has a certain style, and there is a certain expectation from her. Too hard to be funny when you probably didn't need to be. It didn't seem natural in a lot of places, which was not the case with Goblin at all. Goblin was very natural. Kim Go-eun, however, I prefer in Goblin, maybe because thoda sa sentimental that thing in me. I like that she was kick-ass and she took charge of things in King, but I also like how grateful she was, irrespective of what all she had gone through, like mother dying when she's at age 9 and everything, and yet she was like really grateful for everything that happened to her. So that is why I will pick her, and that's it.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Yay.
Good
That
fun.
brings
We
us
are
to the end of episode 8, Lachi Molala Diaries. Thank you so much. I think now we have almost 80 subscribers. So, oh my God,
wow.
paparazzi. Thank you so much for following us and, occasionally commenting us and letting us know what you guys like about our episodes. It really means a lot to us. And definitely let us know again in the comments below if you want us to cover any other topics. And thank you so much, Hemant, for joining. You had really amazing insights on the two shows. We learned so much from your point of view. It was awesome. And Chef, do you have anything to say?
Bye.
Thanks for having
Bye.
me. Bye. See you.